By starting again.
There it is.
You're doing the show. So.
Hey, we are
Have
live. Fish, are you extra happy today because of the Raiders? They seem to be on their way to maybe getting to the playoffs. What do you think?
They have to win out, and they had to win out last year by winning 4 games. They have to win out, and they got some winnable games. You got, I don't want to jinx it, but now you're going to have the John Wolford-led Rams. Then you got the Mac Brown Patriots. Okay. Then you got the Kenny Pickett Steelers, Brock Purdy, 49ers, then Mahomes. With Cincinnati beating Kansas City yesterday, that last game between the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs here in Allegiant will mean something. But you know what? We're going to ask you with these. I like when you get great play calling. This is one of them.
And he is feeling it.
Take it.
Flea flicker. Going to throw it deep. Has a man open. Devontae Adams. Touchdown.
Love that. Great play. Love the flea flicker.
Still going? Yeah.
Nope.
We're having major computer issues here, buddy, in Las Vegas. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay. No, it's looking fine here.
StreamYard, maybe. I think StreamYard is being bugged on my end. Let's keep going.
All right. Let's talk about the 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. I thought it was a great game, except Miami just kind of came up short. Of course, the bad thing for the 49ers defense was great, but they lost Garoppolo. They lost Garoppolo for the season, a broken foot. Does that end their season as far as you're concerned, Fish?
I don't know. I mean, the number 1 defense in the league, but you got Brock Purdy. It's mentioned the kid. He's Mr. Irrelevant. Last pick of the draft. Can their defense carry him? Yeah, but what's going to happen is he had no reps going into that, in practice, going to the Dolphin game. But now defensive coordinators are going to get him on film. So, yes, it affects their season. Right now, I like Seattle winning that division.
Okay. In fact, it just broke. The 49ers just signed Josh Johnson off the Broncos practice squad. This is his 3rd stint with the 49ers. That's going to change
Futbol
everything.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Now, let me ask you this. Could Brock Purdy become the next Tom Brady?
We'll find out. I mean, hey, you know what? Look what Cooper Rush did with Dallas this year, went 4-1. So, I mean, the backup, look at Brissett played very well for your wife's Cleveland Browns. I know they were 4-7 in Deshaun Watson's absence, but it wasn't all his fault. Cleveland's defense stinks. But except for yesterday. I mean, the Houston Texans have to be one of the worst teams I've ever seen in pro football history. They're that bad.
Yeah. All right. So Eagles and Cowboys seem to be making some statements there. You think they're the 2 best teams in the NFC?
What? You know what? Yes. Now that the 49ers have that major injury. Why has the national media come out this morning and say that the Dallas Cowboys have a 50% chance to make the Super Bowl and Philadelphia 30%? There's zero confidence or respect for the Philadelphia Eagles. So big deal. Dallas beat Indianapolis Colts, who has a high school coach now, and Jeff Saturday. Figures they beat the Raiders and they lose the rest of their games. It's just the way it goes. I don't get it, but they're both loaded. I think Jalen Hurts right now is one of the top contenders for MVP. Great skill position players. Does too. So it's going to be a good little race going down to the end. But yes, I think I said last week on the show that the 49ers and the Eagles were going to be in the NFC Championship game. Might because of injuries have to rethink that.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles were really good against the Titans yesterday, even though the Titans are a bit banged up. But to me, what a revenge game for A.J. Brown. Oh, my God, after being traded to the Eagles. I love the Eagles' defense. They certainly closed down the run. I don't know if it's a game that just puts them over the top, because I do think the Titans are banged up. But right now, the Eagles are my favorite, and I would put them ahead of the Cowboys because they've already beaten the Cowboys. They got them one more time. So I would go with that. But game of the day could have been Chiefs and the Bengals. I love that game. I love watching it. I love what went on. I love what both teams did.
Yeah, with the Chiefs losing, that gives Buffalo, as of today, the number 1 seed in the conference. But quietly, and it should be quietly, the Cincinnati Bengals, I think, are playing the best football. And Joe Mixon is even in there. And they got a couple of defensive guys out. Joe Burrow on that 3rd and 11 to seal the game when he hit T. Higgins. It was either T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd. Yeah. What a time he threw. T. Higgins. And Jamar Chase. They won a lot of games without Jamar Chase. It's a 3-team race in the AFC right now, and I'm not going on a limb here. Buffalo, Kansas City, and Cincinnati. It was a great game. Joe Burrow's a stud.
Yeah, he really is. And you're right, because they finally opened up the offense to let him throw the ball at different times, where before they were just kind of running the ball. And the fact that they let him do that on that 3rd down to seal the game, that was brilliant. And he was great. All right, Saints and Buccaneers tonight on Monday Night Football. We'll have the hard lines pick a little later on. But what are you looking for tonight? Because this is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, you and I talked about it on the phone this morning that there's in 2020 the Washington Redskins won a division at 7-9. You got Tampa Bay is 5-6 in the first place in that division. The Carolina Panthers are 4-8. And they have a legitimate chance because they have a very good defense of all those teams in that division between Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa to sneak in there. But it's a big game. Saints, since beating the Raiders 24-0, have been garbage. And Tom Brady, I can't get a fix in that team. I think they miss Bruce Arians as a head coach. I really do. And that's part of the problem. 17-10 tonight, I think, Tampa Bay. But on the other hand, as you know, New Orleans has their number.
Yeah, lately they have. I'm wondering too, with the way that division is, if they keep knocking everybody off, and the leader of the division is under 500, what does that do for the rest of the conference? Does that mean that you've got to be 11-6 to get into the playoffs if you're not in that division?
Well, it helps the rest of the conference because that means there's not 2 teams there. There's not a team. If let's say Tampa's 11-6 and the Saints are 11-6 or tied, so one goes as in a wild card, you're going to get one team out of that division. What I don't like, I'm going to ask your opinion on this, is let's say Tampa gets in and they're 7-10 or 8-9. They get a home playoff game. I think you got to reseed the whole thing. It's not fair that a team like that gets a home playoff game and a team that's 11-6 has to go on the road. Don't you agree?
I agree. I think if you're under 500, you don't get a home game. Yeah, absolutely. They should think about that. We'll tell them that. All right, folks. Hey, welcome to Daly Fish, coming to you from Vegas and Myrtle Beach. I'm John Daly. He is Eric Snyder. We also have the Hard Line with John Hardison from the Cost of Winning podcast. He is not going to be here today due to some travel, but we will have his sports betting advice. Just a reminder on that. On January 12th, right here, we will have Bryan Cranston on with us live. And so make sure to tune in. Mark that on your calendar. Breaking Bad's Bryan Cranston's going to be back with us again. We've had him on before. You can go check our show. It was Daly Fish show number 13. Cranston was on there with us. Had a great time. You'll love hearing from him again. We'll hear what he's up to. And we're also going to hear about what his thoughts are on different sports, especially in the LA area. Folks, you got questions or comments, drop them in the chat box. Or if you're not watching us live, you can email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. All right, Fish, let's talk a little college football, the Final Four, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. You agree with that?
I do. And of course, you get Nick Saban's the biggest advocate of a 14 playoff. He has 2 losses, and he's butthurt. But for argument's sake and have conversation, when you're Alabama, you play 7 teams in the top 15, you do have a tougher schedule than Ohio State, but it goes by wins and losses. And Ohio State, look, my wife's from Ohio. Everyone, they're ecstatic. They did get their ass kicked by Michigan. They did. I would have been upset if TCU didn't make it because they did play a bunch of teams in the top 15, and that was a brilliant. If you didn't watch Kansas State and TCU on Saturday, you missed an ESPN classic. This Max Duggan kid he's got the messy red hair. He looks like he should be stoned and surfing with Todd Marinovich in LA somewhere. He's got blood everywhere, and the silent reporter Jenny Tass said he's got 15 cuts. He won't take oxygen. Just a brilliant game. No, I'm very happy with it. What do you think?
I'm right with you. When TCU lost, I was like, oh man, they're probably not going to put them in there, but I still think they deserve it. I think it was one of the games we called last week. We said it was going to be a decent game. And, give Kansas State a lot of credit because Kansas State, to me, had the best quarterback in college football this year, in Adrian Gonzalez. Or is it Ramirez? I'm drawing a blank on his name now. But, man, he was fabulous. He got hurt.
It was Martinez. It was Martinez, John. It was Martinez.
Okay.
Gonzalez.
I get all those Irish guys mixed up, but I think it's perfect. I think it's really good. Let me ask you this. Do you think Max now gets more ratings than the Heisman?
Boy, it's a two-tier. I love Caleb Williams. I love both of them had emotion.
Yeah.
Both cried after the game. Caleb Williams played with a very significant hamstring injury. They just announced they're playing Tulane. I'm shocked. That's not a good matchup for Tulane in a major bowl game. USC. He might not make it. I will tell you this. All right, making the playoffs is a huge money grabber for the 4 teams. They make millions of dollars off the TV. USC lost millions by losing to Utah. And then Lincoln Riley comes out and says, we deserve to be there. No, you don't. You didn't play that many teams in the top 15, and you lost a team twice. But I think Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman Trophy. It'll be a close race. But, my God, John, we're seeing guys we never thought, like a Cam Risling out of Utah, like the Dorian Thompson kid out of UCLA. You just aforementioned Max Duggan. They're going to be – I can't wait to do our draft show with Chris Landry. I guarantee it's going to be 7 or 8 quarterbacks going in the first or second round, guaranteed in 2023.
I agree. Absolutely. All right. Let me ask you or give you a little bit of news breaking. Shedeur Sanders is going with his dad primetime to Colorado, maybe the next quarterback at the University of Colorado, the Buffaloes. Why am I drawing a blank on where they're Boulder? They're in Boulder, Colorado. What do you think about that? I actually think it's really cool.
I fucking love it because what Boulder, Colorado reminds me of? What was that city, that fictional city in Blazing Saddles? And here comes Cleavon Little, Where are the white women at? A lot of white women in Boulder, Colorado. He's going to – and not only that, I watched his press conference when he addressed the players and said, get in the transfer portal right now if you don't want to stay here. He is – not only is this guy a winner, Deion Sanders, look what he's done to Jackson State. They went undefeated this year. They're going to win. And everywhere he's gone, he's won the player. He's a great coach, and he's a great recruiter. And his son is terrific. I watched a lot of I watched their game against Southern University on Saturday. And it's a great move, and good for him. I'll tell you what's great about it. Not only is he going to get a recruiting class in, but USC and UCLA go to the Big 10 or the Big 12, whatever they call it. What's Iowa State? The Big 10? The Big 12 is my conference. Tech. When they go in 2024, he's going to dominate. I'll make you a prediction. I'll bet you he's there less than his contract. There's no way an NFL team doesn't grab Deion Sanders.
You think so? Wow, that's interesting. My thought is he's probably just perfect for college. I don't know if he would be. That's a different thing. Okay,
I think he's great. I think it's great for the pros. The pros love street cred, and there's no one better than prime time. And he relates to the players, and he's a leader. And you walk in that locker room and say, I'm one of the greatest defensive backs of all time, And the Jeff Saturday narrative didn't help anyone. You saw the debacle that's happening there. So Deion is going up that tree of coaching, and I'm a big fan of this. And good for Colorado. They've had a good coach since Bill McCartney with Sal Nessie back when Cordell Stewart back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. Good program, great city. He's gonna love that place.
All right. Well, we'll be watching that. That's for sure. All right. Next topic. We're going to talk about there's a soccer match going on somewhere. And man, the crowds that are watching in the U.S. Tell me what you're seeing, because you're over at Shucks Tavern over in Las Vegas. You're there all night, and all night is when a lot of the games are on. Are you seeing a lot of people coming in?
7, 8 people walking. Can you play fish? Put on Fox. 6 o'clock. I knew it was on. South Korea and Portugal. A lot of them are girls because Ronaldo, not only is he gorgeous. By the way, did you hear Saudi Arabia offered him $360 million contract? It was for that and from the play and the live too.
Play and the live, absolutely.
No, it's great. The ratings are great. It's sad because the United States, we just can't build a team. We one of the best young players in the world in Christian Pulisic. We lost. The Netherlands are great, but some of the teams that didn't advance, if you were to tell me that Germany would not make it out of into the knockout round, and who's the other one that didn't make it? Mexico. My God.
Yeah.
I mean, you have two powerhouses, but they're still great. It's still great. And yeah, I mean, people, again, I have customers, I won't mention names. Some have been on the show before, BT. I'll give you the initial. I hate soccer. And they get pissed. He walked out of the bar because people want to watch soccer. I go, we're 9.5% of the world population. Everyone plays soccer everywhere else. You don't have to like the sport, but just respect the fact that other people do, and they're not Americans, okay?
No, you're right. And at the same time, too, it's become a lot more popular, I think, because of social media. If you think about it, our pages that you and I have, that we even have for Daly Fish here, we have people on our pages from different countries, and they have different opinions and feelings. And that's, for a lot of us, that's our sports news now. So we're getting to hear more about that. And plus, a lot of Americans are playing soccer. A lot of people are getting involved in the politics that are going on. Look at we talk about the war in Ukraine. You and I have talked about that, in Russia and everything that's going on over there. We even had the whole Iran thing that was going on. What just happened this morning was amazing. A Turkish broadcaster was removed from the Turkish broadcast, from the state-run broadcast, because he mentioned a retired Turkish player who became a political opponent of the current president, Erdogan. And he got removed right in the middle of the game because he talked about this previous really good player in Turkey, and that he had done something maybe about 11 years ago. Because he mentioned his name, just what he did 11 years ago, he got removed from there. So think of the intrigue that's actually happening here because of the FIFA World Cup.
Let's talk about this. Talk about, if you ever think, as much as we talk about the maladies of this country, that many of the Iranian players had their houses ransacked when they lost to us, and they have to fear for their lives. In Colombia years ago, John, you remember the goalie that was shot and killed because he gave up a goal in the quarterfinals? They take this thing very serious. We don't go after, when Derek Carr throws 3 picks and a pick 6 and loses, you don't have guys threatening their lives. Maybe they do. We don't hear about it. It's that big, and it's brutal that these players have to go through that. But you're right. I mean, look what happened in Turkey. Look, this sport is so huge and so because it's our national sport. We have a lot of national. We have basketball, football, baseball here, right? And everyone has their own niche with their own sports. I think another thing about soccer, why I think it's popular, even though we don't like ties and small scoring. You look at the USA-Netherlands match with little stoppage time. You're in and out in 2 hours. Our biggest criticism of baseball is the game is 3 hours and 40 minutes, and you don't have to watch it. That's going to change next year with the pitch clock. You watch. They'll make it a lot more available to watch. But what's 3 hours and 40 minutes to watch anything other than porn?
Well, that's true. As long as it's slow, that ain't boring. All right, good. Let's move on to a little bit of binge watching. What are you binge watching now, buddy?
We lost this. So sometimes we had a great segment in our old format, binge watching, and I said, John, I watched something, and I watched the entire 8 episodes in one day. That shows the kind of life I had. All right, let's go back to a show real quick that was just cutting edge and way ahead of its time when we were younger, called The Addams Family, about this family that really deified death. Okay, well, now let's fast forward to present. Their daughter, they had a family. It was Gomez and Morticia. Their cousin the thing, which was a hand. 2 kids, Pugsley and Wednesday. Wednesday is now in high school. Farm Times. Tim Burton takes over this franchise. You know him from, oh my God, Edward Scissorhands, great director. Wednesday, in the first episode, Pugsley, the kid, gets bullied by the members of the swim team that look like Johnny Lee, except with blonde hair. Gorgeous kids, right? So what does she do? She goes home. She gets her pet piranhas, right? Dumps them in a swimming pool when these kids are having a swim meet. They bite their balls off. She gets sent to Nevermore. So imagine this. Nevermore, in other words, Addams Family is dealing with mixing the macabre and death with Harry Potter. And it's how things happen at this school. It's incredible. I don't want to say anymore. I've talked too much. I've never talked too much about binge watching anything. But even if you didn't watch the Addams Family, the dry humor in this thing and the death and the destruction is fantastic. What are you watching?
Well, let me ask you this. So somebody that wouldn't be into that genre, would they watch it? Because like Stranger Things, I wasn't into that genre, but I watched it and it was brilliant. And I always watch it. So if you're not into that genre, would you recommend that?
Yeah, because this is Stranger Things. I've never seen things like that. I've never seen the sexual connotations of kids in a high school that's for misfits. Get they're brilliant and Catherine Zeta-Jones plays Morticia. We all know her from that. Luis
Yeah.
Guzman is a great character actor. He plays Gomez. Jenny Ortega is a newcomer. She's 20 years old. She looks like she's 12. She plays Wednesday. I see Emmy nominations coming for writing and acting, and I'm excited I am about this. And right, it's not really my genre, but everyone texted me, you got to watch this thing. I watched it. Hey, I got 8 hours. Boom.
Cool. So what I'm binging is I've gone back to The Man in the High Castle. That's our guest Stephen Root is in that, and he actually is the man in the high castle. And just so folks know, it's Nazis in the Japanese win World War II, and they control the United States. This takes place in 1962. I think it's really worth watching because of some political themes that we're seeing today with Nazism and fascism and stuff like that. But I also think it's worth watching because there's a chance, and you mentioned this to me as well, that there may be a 5th season. They kind of cut it down to a 4th season and ended it, but they want to try to get a 5th season because it's so popular. We're waiting to see. What are you hearing? Do you think it's going to come back?
I think it's going to happen. Well, I don't want to give anything away. Obviously they try to tie that. I don't know what happened because the 4th season ended in such, with a deadlock of certain stories. And the cliffhanger, you need a 5th season because you know what happens with the Japanese, you don't know what happens with the Nazis. I'm not giving anything away. It brilliantly acted. Stephen Root, to have him on, he was so good. Everyone's at but the implications that I don't want to give it away. You say if you watched it, you think, wow, if this really happened, this could really happen.
All right, cool. Right. All right, it's time now for our famous fish memes of the week. We'll show you them, but if you're listening to us, we'll let you know what they are and when you finally get a chance to see. So what do you have this week, Fish?
Well, the first 5 memes I have, I get a lot of people to contact us and say, show us what it like when you and John grew up. And this is an actual ad. Look at this ad. The love rug strokes your bodies as you make love. That's David Hasselhoff. Okay. That's 1975. So in other words, what he's probably doing is if you lay on that thing, you're probably masturbating. The love rug is beautiful to look at any level. Any other animal will do well. It's only $150 in your famous pure texture. Choose mink, lynx, or jaguar. I'm done. All right. How did John Daly and Eric Snyder to music when we were younger? We put these in our car. Remember this, John?
Absolutely.
Those are cassettes. Remember, John, this always happened. If you had a cassette and it got stuck in your car, you had to pull it out. You lost it. That's what they looked like. It was just. I mean, look. Rest in peace. What's her face died? Kristen McVie died from Fleetwood Mac. Had a lot of cassette tapes of Fleetwood Mac. What a great voice. And I remember I had Fleetwood Mac in the car with my girlfriend, and it started spewing out. You're done. You can't fix that. Okay.
Yeah.
We showed this last week of Peter Jennings. One of my cousin's favorite managers is this guy, John Daly knows this. Jimmy Leland. Yeah. He wasn't even. He just sat in that dugout and he's smoking a cigarette. I just love this old time stuff. Don Maynard was asked this. He goes, "This is what this." We talk about safety, and concussions are a big deal, and the injuries are such prominent in the NFL. This is Don Maynard, a famous receiver from the Jets. That's what the face mask look like. That they have more broken noses and broken teeth like hockey players. Okay, John, we have a big fan base in Philly. These are the Philly legends, but I can't think of the guy in the bottom, and I want people while we're doing this. I know Casey Evans is going to chime in. This is the 1978 great players in Philadelphia. Everyone knows Dr. J, right, John? The guy is Ron Jaworski on the right. The guy in the middle has the most famous son of any athlete. That's Tug McGraw. And his son is Grammy Award-winning country singer Tim McGraw, also a great actor. Who's the guy on the bottom? Don't cheat. So I'm gonna leave that one. All right, we'll get some. He's a goaltender, obviously, for the Philadelphia Flyers. Check this out, Check this meme out, John, for everyone on Spotify. Women hate that men can just stand around like this for hours and be happy. It's from Bob's Burgers. This guy's holding beer and staring at an engine in a car. I love that. Yeah, that makes men happy.
You know what? There's a lot of truth to that. I just, we have a couple of good friends, and the guys, we're just standing around, and the wives go, look at them. They're just standing there. And they're happy. So, but I'm the same way when I'm with you that way. So.
And, I love John, and we make fun of each other, and he's such a good sport. He takes it. But there's a reason why John always sits in the emergency exit on a plane, because this might happen.
I don't think that.
If you sit in the emergency exit, we might need you to pull the lever on the door in case of an incident. Okay. No, that's not in his lap. All right, here's another one. This is Davis. Okay. Mark Davis yesterday. He's always alone. This is him in the booth at the game against the Chargers yesterday. Is he rocking the cradle daily? What the hell is this? Look at the chick next to him. Just gorgeous. They show him talking to her. Yeah. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous. Look at that. You know what that means? You got swag. If you could sport a haircut like that and have that kind of money, and you can get that kind of women. We can't do that. That's my memes, buddy, for the week.
Those are good ones. All right. Love it. All right. Thanks for joining us here. Again, we're on Daly Fish. We talk sports, entertainment, and politics, everything in between, just like you do. No woke, no extreme, no social justice cops here. You got a problem with us? Just suck it up. Don't worry. You have questions or comments, drop them in the chat box. Or if you're not joining us live, you can email us at dalyfish, dalyfish1@gmail.com. And again, just to remember, January 12th, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have Breaking Bad's Bryan Cranston back on again. If you want to see our first interview with Bryan, go to the Daly Fish Show 13 on YouTube. It's Daly Fish Show 13 on YouTube. All right, now it's time for our Schmuck Swag and Drink of the Week. So let's start off with our Schmuck of the Week. Who do you got this week there, Fish?
I wanted to, so we go through famous headlines. I'm tired of bagging on people. I get a lot of crap that says you bag on people. It's not nice in this culture. I don't give a shit what you think. I'm going to bag on people if they do something schmucky. If we do newspaper columns daily and we do famous, things stupid people say, I had to go through this. Just in lieu of this guy right here. These are considered the top 7 stupid haircuts everyone's ever got. These are real haircuts. John, look at this guy. Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher. Look at this hair. That's a real guy. It looks like his head's a tomb. It's flat, goes straight down. I mean, I can't explain it. You got to go on, viewers, and take a look at this. Look at this haircut. Look at this. I call it a tarantula.
Wow.
I can't believe that. This guy looks like he has a tarantula come out of it. It's a good-looking kid,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Okay, there's an old character from the say Pippi Longstocking. This is America's new Pippi Longstocking. Look at this one.
Oh yeah. Actually, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. I don't mind that. I
can't. Well, it's got a pretty face.
Yeah,
it's got a pretty face, but maybe I don't know. Maybe if you're into kinky stuff. Here's my prom date. Look, check out this nice mustache.
Oh. Wow.
That's a guy with basically the Joan London look from 1970s. If you're watching,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. What
guy. Look at that mustache. Oh my God, she has a mustache. This one, I'm coming down. That's 2. Okay, check out this one. I call this half head. We got a little. Look at that, crazy.
Yeah.
The barber says, "What do you want?" He goes, "I don't know, something hard to choose between 2 things." I mean, God, you really want? And then this is the most creative thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how you make love to this. I call this hand hair. This chick, this girl, my wife doesn't want me to say the word chicks anymore, so I'll say broads. So this broad has her hair like hands on her like that. I mean, she's trying to touch herself with her hands. That's it. That's my schmucky haircut.
So are the hands part of her hair?
That's part of her hair. Her hair is her hand.
Wow.
That's a
lot of work.
When she sleeps, she puts it into like a thing. I read some research. So she sleeps. She's got to sleep up, and she puts it into like a cast for her hands so they don't move. I mean, that's a lot of work. How does she wash her hair? I mean, it's sick.
Yeah.
I think she's full of shit. I think those are extensions. It just extends on. I don't buy the bullshit that you wash it that because there's no way you don't wash it. Just flies down. It's cute.
Well,
Some of these kids are cute. They're good looking
yeah.
people. Talk about attention whores. That's an attention whore type of thing, you know. But is what it is. And that's my schmucks.
If any of them want attention, they can come on the show, and we'll interview them and find out about the hairdo. I think that's great. I love that. All right. That's our schmucks of the week. And Fish, who are we going to celebrate this week? Who's got the swag?
I don't know why I haven't for our 35th anniversary. We just saw Josh Jacobs last week against Seattle go through basically the new tunnel in here we go. Come on. So I want to show you a video. You know, this is our swag right here. Okay. Right here. Let me show you if I can find the meme of this guy had it. I call this greatness. This is Bo Jackson. Right. Yep. If you were lucky enough to watch this guy play, he dominated. He did a TV commercial for Nike where he had to play all 4 sports. He learned how to skate. Wayne Gretzky was the guy that taught him how to skate. He learned how to skate like a hockey player in 26 minutes. And then he dunks a basketball. You saw his accolades in football. Let me show a great clip of him in baseball. All right, John, you remember this. This is so great.
Orsolak licks that one to left center field. Bo won the charge. Bo is there. Yo, mama, run that wall. Bo. Get up that wall.
Bo knows exactly what he's doing.
Spider-Man. I love it. They show it on the big.
I remember that. That was one of the great moments of baseball back in the 70s. Was the 70s or the 80s?
Well, it was the 80s because Chris Berman used to lead off Sports Center when he just couldn't get over. I mean, the guy hurts his hip. He had the same hip injury that Tua Tagovailoa had, and Tua came back within a year. When this guy had it, it was the end of his career, but he still came back on one hip and did 26 home runs for the White Sox. I don't know if I've ever seen a multi-talented athlete like that. Deion Sanders is great, John. We talk about so I talk about Ohtani. What he's doing is fantastic. This guy's got swag because he played 8 games with the Raiders and he played a full season with the Royals and he went to the Pro Bowl twice in 8 games and went to the All-Star game. Have you ever seen that, John? It's nuts.
No, I don't think we ever have. No. Dave DeBusschere was the closest one. I think he pitched for the White Sox and then played with the New York Knicks, but he never got World Series or anything like that. All right. Now we have our drink of the week, and we're going to toast Bo Jackson. And what are we sipping, Fish?
Well, we toast Bo Jackson, and these are all a lot of comments coming in. Deion Sanders is better than Bo Jackson. I'm not going to put that up there. Yeah, Deion Sanders is a great deal. Well, this is a shot. Okay, green teas became a very famous shot. What is this? Jameson, sweet and sour mix, and you put a little touch of peach schnapps on top. Now it's the white tea. Okay, white tea is vodka. I prefer using Tito's. All right, same ingredients, same mixtures, sweet and sour mix, and peach schnapps. I don't drink. This is water, but I'm gonna do a toast to Bo Jackson. All right, and also that school in California, the Riverside School of Deaf, that won the state championship in Division IIIA football. A deaf school went 12-0. I couldn't get any video of it, but we have to honorable mention. So Bo knows, and those kids, God bless you. We toast you.
Absolutely. Here's to them. All right. I'm drinking because I'm Irish. Aye. All right. Daily Fish Drink of the Week is sponsored by Shucks Tavern in Vegas. Great seafood and drinks in 2 locations. Head to Shucks Tavern on North Durango on the northwest side of town, where Fish is overnight. All you got to do is say Daily Fish Podcast. You get a free drink. Do it the next day, you get a free appetizer. That's Shucks Tavern. Check out Shucks Tavern on Facebook. Again, folks, this is Daily Fish. We're on Facebook at Daily. Yes.
Just a shout out to all the bartenders at Shucks Tavern. They're doing a great thing for helping dogs, adopting dogs, to Ashley, to Amanda, to Nikki, Josh, Jeremy, Michael, Chris, Karina, and myself. We have the girls have done a great job putting this together, especially Ashley, Amanda, Karina, and Nikki, and Josh and Jeremy. But we're very big in helping dogs, and Shucks Tavern is doing a great philanthropy. Say the word, John. I can't do it.
Philanthropy.
Right.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great.
We love dogs. Sorry.
Good stuff.
How to get that plug in.
Yeah, and one of the great
And the
charities out
entire
there.
staff. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. The entire staff, also the servers, the cooks, stuff like that. If you go in the Shucks Tavern right now, it's decorated. It looks like dog heaven in there. It's so great. Pictures of everyone's dogs and rescues, and your dog Nike. Well,
Yep.
Molly was there, you know.
Okay.
And
Nike's right here.
we're
Nike
big
was
dog fans.
Nike was a rescue out in Vegas too from the Heaven Can Wait charity. So that's another one as well.
Pick her up. Put her on the show.
All right, hang on a second.
Get that dog. I love this dog. When John lived in Las Vegas, John's been in the Carolinas for at least 10 years. When I started hanging out with John, Nike was with us. Nike's got to be, what, 15 years old?
He's 15. Yeah, look at him.
Yeah. Sweetheart.
And he's a great testament to the Heaven Can Wait charity out there. And what they do is they actually train the female inmates at Gene, Nevada to train the dogs. So that when you adopt a dog, they've had 2 or 3 months of training, and it gives the inmates a skill as well. And so he was part of that. So when we got him, I mean, he was trained, he was just great, and he's just a ton of fun, aren't you?
Can I ask you a question about that? That's a great thing you just brought up. Does that help rehabilitate the inmates as far as, because they get a chance to bond with the dog? We all know that the dogs want I hate cliches, but they are men's best friends and women's best friend. And look how much joy. I mean, my wife and I have always had Goldens. I've been married 33 years, always had a dog. It's always been a Golden. But I know the joy you get out of that dog. And I've always said this, and I think you agree. If humans had the disposition of Nike and Molly, or just a Labrador or a Golden Retriever breed, we wouldn't talk. We don't have to go to our political bullshit coming up and talk about all the strife and the strain. Yeah,
absolutely.
Hi, Nike.
So, yeah. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? All right, I'll let you go back to sleep. Okay. He's guarding the house.
You know what? You should keep him up there with you on the show. We're doing the thing with the dogs, so you should have him. But I don't want him taking a dump on your lap.
That's the thing. All right, folks. Again, this is Daly Fish. We're on Facebook at daily.fish.5. Subscribe there. Also subscribe to us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, and Amazon. Watch us on Facebook at the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel, Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. You can check us out on Wingding TV and also on Hey Vegas TV. Check out our posts on Twitter and Facebook as well. It's under Daly Fish. We got a lot of news there for you. We give you a lot of stuff of what's going on in the sports and entertainment world. All right. Now.
Got one.
Okay.
John, real quick. I'm going to cut you off real quick. Jeff Gruzelac out of, Pacific, California. I don't know where that is. Probably up north. That's Pete Peters. Thank you, Jeff. Pete Peters is the goalie in this picture. I didn't know that. I don't. Did that guy even have a great career?
Wow.
The Philly Legends. I said, someone chime in. That's Pete Peters. I mean, George was in the Super Bowl, McGraw, and this and that. So thank you, Jeff Gruzelac out of Pacific, California. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Perfect. No, that's great. All right, let's get some bets from the Daly Fish Hardline. Hardline is John Hardison. He has the Cost of Winning podcast focusing on fantasy sports and sports betting on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. But Hardline did a Peter, Paul, and Mary as he's leaving on a jet plane today. And he did leave us, though, with his bets of the week. Let's go through some of them here, Fish. Tonight, Monday Night Football. The Bucs are 3-point favorites over the Saints in Tampa. Hardline agrees with us. He says take the Bucs and give up the 3 points. Give us your take.
I'll do my imitation of Hardline. Imagine I'm bald and I'm beautiful and I'm black. Okay, I would say, Chris Olave, and it's Olave, and Michael Thomas not be playing, but I think I love that guy. I agree. He's having a great year this year. It's funny. He texts me whenever he misses. He doesn't miss a lot. He did miss on the TCU Kansas State game.
Yeah,
we talked about it earlier. You're going to have to go through his picks. He sent them to you, and I'll make my comments on it. But I agree with the Saints and the Buccaneers.
I got him right here. All right. Next one, Jets and the Bills. Now, to me, this is going to be a real interesting game. I'm concerned that the Jets may have a little bit of kind of leftover enthusiasm after losing that game in Minnesota. Hardline says take the money line. So I think he thinks that the Jets are going to hold their own and maybe lose again by a close one. So what are you picking on that one?
I'm with them. I watched it in the morning. I go back and forth. The Jets were down a lot in that game, 20-3, and they dominated that fourth quarter. Minnesota had a couple of good goal line stands. Mike White's playing great. I love Garrett Wilson as their wide receiver, their rookie wide receiver. I like the Jets. The Jets are in a mode right now because of the Bengals playing better and the Ravens. I think the Ravens will be okay. It just came out that Lamar Jackson's not out for the season. It's only a couple of games. Tyler Huntley will do well. They're in crisis mode, the Jets, right now. I like them in this game.
Okay. So I goof up? Did I say the Bills or the Jets he was taking the money line?
You said Jets. I like the way
I got it wrong. I got it wrong. He said the Bills. He said take the Bills and the money line.
I like the Jets.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right.
All right. Dolphins and Chargers. Wow. The Dolphins are a 2.5-point favorite. And he's going Dolphins. What are you picking on that one?
Well, he doesn't know this. He made these picks because he's out of town. They're doing some scans on Tua's ankle this morning. Yep. If he doesn't play, then I have to go with the Chargers. If he plays, I think they bounce back. I agree with him.
Okay.
The Chargers are not what I mean. The Raiders just dominated. The Raiders should have won that game by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Raiders. But I agree with him.
All right. Next one. Vikings and the Lions. These wow. Now, this is, you got to remember, this is Hardline's team, and he's saying take the over 52. So he's not making a bet one way who's going to win. Over 52. And, I got to kind of agree with him after watching the Lions last weekend against Jacksonville. You got to think they're going to put some points up there.
If any team not named the Raiders are improving to the middle to the later part of the season, the Lions are terrific with that great win against the Giants. They look great on Thanksgiving Day. You watch that game, John, against the Bills. That could have gone either way. But then the blowout Jacksonville, it was a 43 to, I forgot what it was. They look terrific. Yeah. I like the over. Oh, there's going to be points for a score in that game.
I like that too. All right. Real quickly, because we've been doing the last man standing at Shucks. What's going on there? You and I are out of it, unfortunately. Daly Fish are out of it. But what do you got left? Because we got what, 6 weeks left of the season, or 5 weeks left of the season.
7 people left. No one lost this past weekend, and we have 2 people that don't have a loss. So if you're one of those 5 other people, you need them to lose to catch up. So, but a lot of people took Cleveland, which is a good call because of Houston. But there's not a lot of teams you could take. It's getting interesting right now. You're gonna see it start to. When it gets towards a week 17 or 18, there'll be two people left probably.
Yep. Okay. All right. Good. And that's out at Chuck's Tavern again. And that is the Daly Fish Hardlines. Again, he's John Hardison with the Cost of Winning podcast. You can find him here almost every week. Not today. He'll be with us here. He's also on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcast. Hey, just to throw this out, folks, if you'd like to be a sponsor of Daly Fish, let us know because we'd love to have you on the show. You can email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. All right. Now let's get into a little bit of controversy here. We just talked about last man standing. And Fish, you and I here at Daly Fish, we've kind of become last man standing in the podcast world, so to speak, because we are now beginning to get some really great audiences. And folks, if you're listening, thank you for watching us and for being part of the show. But it's amazing how many people are really beginning to, because you're seeing, even while we're on live here, people are commenting and talking to us as well. So I think a lot of it has to do you and I changing the format.
Yeah, kudos to you. It's a collaborative effort. We've been doing it since April 21st of 2021. We're not seeing anything but we're getting just 4 million podcasts. Okay, for you out there. Anyone out there listening or watching, go StreamYard or go on any kind of platform you want, whether it's Twitch, and you can do what John and I do. It's a lot of work. You got to put a show together, but it's a great way to spew and hopefully entertain someone. And realistically, I want to be in. I'm in my pajamas right now. You can't see it. They're Raider pajamas, and there's a hole. Right,
Oh, somebody's calling you to tell you to get out of your underwear. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and we thank our audiences and people are hear those things. It's people commenting. I'll put you on there if it's not if it's PG. You know, a lot of people. The curse. Just because I curse doesn't mean you have to. Okay, I'm not going to put you on there when you say fuck the Cowboys. I'm not putting it on the bottom over here. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun. And the great thing about podcasts, last thing I'll say, so we can move on. There's 2 ways you can do a podcast. You could do it visually, this handsome guy, and audio. And audio is the biggest platform you could do it on. Yeah. So we're lucky. I could take this visual stuff and transform it to an audio medium, and we're going to continue to do it. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And
that's why I do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying it with you, buddy, because it's been a ton of fun. I think one of the interesting things when we talked about the format change, if you guys were originally with us when we started the show, we did this whole show where it's us talking, and then we add a special guest in the end there. And what we found was we got a lot of comments from all of you saying, hey, now we just want to hear you guys talk about sports and entertainment and the goofy controversies that you guys come upon. And then other people saying, well, I really want to hear that guest and I have to wait all that time. So what we've done is we've split it up, and you're going to see and hear different shows where we have guests. So for instance, earlier I mentioned Bryan Cranston's going to be on here January 12th with us. So we're going to talk to him not only about sports, but all the stuff that's going on with him. And we've done that with a lot of other guests, and we're going to do it again. Go for it.
I really can't stand working with you. I like it because you're a great host. Well, no, I don't like you at all. I like the fact that you're transgender and you embrace the LGBT community, and the fact that John finally he finally turned his vagina into a penis. Did you see how controversial he was last week? He was great. I'm getting comments all the time. John was ripping the Christian right. John is one of these guys, when he grew up, look at this guy. I'm going to put a bag on. It's a great bag. He's the most handsome guy on the planet. My wife first met him. She was like, I can't look at him. He's too good looking. Who the fuck am I? You know? John's the kind of guy that grew up and had the potatoes, mashed potatoes, and pot roast perfect. Leave it to Beaver type of thing. And look what he's turned into. Why he's working with me, I don't know. If you do a schmuck of the week on this show, I'm him. Matter of fact, when I talk, you should just do this. And then when John talks, do this. It's a great. We have a great time. Bringing Hardline has been great. Every guest, every person that's contributed to the show has been fantastic. Okay, we decided to go more towards a audio medium, and it's working. So let's move on, because people want to hear about us. We want to hear about how controversial John is. And John, when you had the penis attached, how does that work?
It's a lot of stitching. So it's you got to stitch a lot. All right, let's move into a little political stuff, because tomorrow, we're talking here on Monday. Tomorrow and Tuesday in Georgia is the big runoff election between Senator Warnock and Herschel Walker. That is tomorrow. That's Tuesday. Again, we're talking here on Monday. So unfortunately, we didn't get Hardline to give us any betting on that. But Fish, what's your take on it? What do you see happening?
He did. This is the biggest thing Hardline told me was this: bet this. Okay, bet when they do the movie. This is Senator Warnock right here. Look at this guy.
Okay.
All right, that's Senator Raphael Warnock. Keep a look. I can't transposition too. Look at that face. All right, this is character actor and Larry David alum JB Smoove. That's unbelievable. Yeah. That's the biggest. Yeah. Okay, that's JB Smoove.
That's
Raphael Warnock.
Yep.
He said, if this is going to happen, movie Dave, where Kevin Kline stood in there for the president and actually ran the country better than right. I mean, that's the best thing I can tell you. I'm hearing early results on a serious note. I heard that there's a little bit of a drop off with the GOP and Herschel Walker. And I think you told me this morning that Warnock's got a sizable lead, but I don't believe the polls like you do. What do you think?
Well, no, I agree with you. And again, what the pollsters are saying I would say the majority of them right now have Warnock up about 4 or 5 points. You're hearing some stuff from the far right saying it's a lot tighter or Walker's ahead. I think one of the things that you look at is the record amount of early voting, and that usually means a Democrat is going to do better. So I'm thinking right now you're just beginning to see a lot of Republicans who are beginning to run away from Herschel Walker. So if I had to predict, I think Warnock wins. I don't think he wins in a landslide by any means, but I think he wins by maybe 3 or 4 if I had to guess right now.
Okay. Well, why are Republicans moving away from Herschel Walker when he's a minority, he's famous, and he is a part of that party? Why are they running away from him?
I think just some of the things that he says, I think they realize that, you just can't have somebody there who's going to be a representative in the Senate representing your party. And to be honest with you, the very prejudiced people in the Republican Party, this is how they look at black people, unfortunately. So I just see a lot of, there's a lot of Republicans that voted for Kemp, the governor, that did not, about 200,000 less voted for Herschel Walker. So are they going to come back out again? I'm not certain. But that's a guess. Now, could it change dramatically? It could, but I just right now, if I had to put money on it, I would say Warnock's gonna win by 3 or 4.
Okay.
All right. Good. All right. So, okay. Last topic of the day. Has Trump finally lost it? He was calling for the Constitution to be suspended and to have himself reinserted as president. And I know we get a lot of people on the show who say, why is Daly so anti-Trump? I'm really not anti-Trump. I'm just I'm against his ideas. And again, coming from a news background, when I look at different things about what he says, what he does, and what appear to be confirmed researched reality, he misses the point. And for him to say this, to me, I think he's getting desperate. I think he knows the legal walls are beginning to close in on him. What do you think, Fish?
I agree. I don't think you're against Trump. I don't think a lot of people, when he was president, up until coronavirus, the COVID-19 hitting the country brilliantly, economically. Okay. They asked President Trump, what was it like when you went through the transition with President Barack Obama? And he said, it was wonderful. He was great. He goes, did he give you any advice? He said, yes. Stay off social media. Well, we see how that worked out. Trump can't keep his mouth shut. And when you host Nick Fuentes and you start making these kind of comments, you're like Putin with Ukraine. You're backed into a corner. What are you going to do? And what's going to happen is a lot of people that are, I think, in the Republican Party are going to back off this guy. He's still going to have his base. I'm walking Molly this morning. Remember I'm telling you? And 2 guys walk up to me and say, how come you guys are so against Trump on your podcast? These guys are 2 USC graduates that are neighbors of mine that are fantastic people. So we're not against Trump, but factually, I think that when you start saying things on social media and it looks like you're parading anti-Semitism and hate. It's got to be addressed. I'm not saying Biden's the greatest president. I have a lot of issues with Biden. I can't stand politicians. All right. I don't know how you feel about Biden. Biden came out and said I'm one of the greatest presidents of all time. Of course, okay? You're not. I mean, I don't know if there's a greatest president of all time. I'm not enamored with that position. I don't know why anyone would want that job, John. I don't. Especially when you're older. When you're Trump's age and you're Joe Biden's age, you should be playing golf. This is what you should be doing when you're that age, okay? Because you have money. You should own a football team and hang out with that product. Sit. All right. I mean, I'm serious. My mom always says, goes, I'm 84 years old. I don't know what the stress of just trying to stay alive and enjoying life. I mean, is the ego that big, John? That's what I want to end up. Is the ego that big for these people that they have to do these? We need a president, I'm always, this is going to sound horrible. I'm 62 years old. I'm always for the younger person. Whether you liked Obama or not, at least there's a man with younger ideas and younger people around him. All right, and you could be in your 70s and be a great president. You can, and I have been, but I'm tired. All of them, they drive me crazy. Pete Buttigieg might be the best candidate out there, all of them, but he's not going to make it because he's gay.
Well, we don't know. It's funny.
We just had a sex change operation.
They're talking about.
How are you doing?
I haven't had a sex change operation in a long time.
Chase, what's his name? Chase Bono. Yeah. Well, Chase Bono just chimed in and said, here's one. No, really. I mean, we have to talk politics. It's helping our ratings, but I don't think any of this diatribe that is negative helps any narrative whatsoever. When you spew hate in any aspect, how could that help?
Yeah.
Go.
No, you're right. And well, and one of the things
I'm giving you the last 4 minutes. Go.
Okay. So one of the things that I've learned through all of my research is the fact that the United States is very successful when we've got two things going on at the same time, where the individual versus the common good is a great battle. And when that happens, and when both parties are part of that, we get individuals who can thrive, who can create businesses, but we also have the common good where we're taking care of people. And when that battle is really good, we do really well. And that battle has not done well for the last 15, 20 years. The individual is winning and the common good is not really doing well. Now, is it just us? No. I mean, we're seeing it worldwide because there's changes in technology, there's changes in the climate that are causing some parts of the world, they can't thrive. They can't make food. So you're beginning to see that, and we're going through really dramatic and traumatic changes worldwide. And at the same time, too, you're getting a lot of countries like China, you're getting Russia, countries like that who are becoming more insular. We're becoming more insular. A lot of the stuff that Trump did as far as trade goes, Biden hasn't backed off yet. And you're seeing the Europeans that are saying to him, hey, you got to start opening up your trade. So we're part of it too. So it's not just America. It's not just by America. So we're going through some difficult times here. And it's really, really difficult. The problem is you've got a lot of autocrats out there. And I'm not saying Biden's an autocrat. I think he's doing as much as he can. And I think we've kind of stepped away from autocracy with the midterm elections. Does that mean we're going to go back to it? We could. Anyway, go ahead.
John, you look, you're only a couple of years older than me. You've insulated in America, like we talked about the soccer earlier, that we can't get out of we can't get out of our heads that soccer's more popular than baseball, hockey, basketball, or pro football, that we're so insulated that we don't know what's going on. I can't thank people I know that have no idea what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. They have no idea. Yeah. This is how I think. I've become a Debbie Downer since I've met you in a weird way. If India and Pakistan were to unleash their full nuclear arsenal on each other, we all die. You think any Americans think that other than me? But I think about that kind of crap. My grandfather now, I worry about what goes on in the rest of the world. You think, give you the rest of the forum here. Are we that insulated and that decadent as Americans to think that we just run the show? Because we really don't.
Not anymore. We really don't anymore. Yet at the same time, too, we've got to come back to become leaders of the world so that everybody's included. And unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, the climate problem is probably going to help us try to bring more people in, because there's people in Africa and different places around the equator that are really going to be suffering. So at some point that's got to happen, and we've got to be more inclusive while at the same time too being leaders. Can we do that? It's a good question. We don't really know.
We're still the greatest country in the world. The fact that Australia got DirecTV, you can watch NFL in Australia, that's second. But we're still, no matter what you think about this country, I would rather do this with John Daly here, because we can't do it in Russia or China or other countries. We can't have this conversation. So, wow,
absolutely.
Hey,
all right.
Are we having Bryan Cranston on the show? Who is that guy? January 12th. Does he know anything about Dodger baseball?
He does know about Dodger baseball, and he also knows how to make cocaine in a mobile home. So that's exactly why we're going to have him on here. And that's coming up on January 12th. So just keep watching for us. All right, folks, this is Daly Fish coming to you from Vegas and Myrtle Beach. Sports, entertainment, politics, everything in between. You can get us on Facebook, daily.fish.5. You can also see us on Myrtle Beach Golf Channel, Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. Check out Daly Fish on YouTube, Wingding TV, Hey Vegas TV, and listen to us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, and Amazon. And also email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. Great show, buddy. Sorry we didn't have Hardline here, but we'll have him here next week.
We miss him. And thank you, Chef Severn, for all you do for dogs and for people. You know, I know I sound self-serving, but when you do something great, hey, it needs to be looked at. Daly, love you, man. Good luck.
Right back at you, buddy.